CBS Young and the Restless Spoilers full. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Y&R addicts. Today is a completely wild day, and we are still trying to process the absolute madness that just unfolded on our screens. Grab a massive cup of coffee because we have so much to unpack, and trust us, you are going to need it. Let's dive right into the chaos. I cannot believe they just did that. I mean, I'm literally sitting here typing this at 2 a.m. because my brain is completely short-circuiting after watching that episode. Are we actually watching Nick Newman, the golden boy of Genoa City, dying in a filthy basement while Matt Clark plays God? And don't even get me started on Patty Williams suddenly holding all the cards. Like, since when does Patty get to dictate the fate of the mighty Newman empire? I've been watching this show since the early days. I've seen some incredibly dark stuff, but this is next level psychological torture. I am half screaming at my television and half crying because the stakes have never been this horrifyingly high. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just take a breath. Okay, back to the point. We need to talk about that chilling, visceral scene with Nick first, because it is permanently burned into my retinas. So Nick collapses from this massive, terrifying drug overdose. The fentanyl and cocaine cocktail has completely shut his system down. And what does Matt Clark do? Does he panic? Does he call for help? No. He literally drags Nick's unconscious body across the dirty floor of that abandoned gas station. You can hear the sound of Nick's shoes scraping against the concrete, and it is sickening. Matt throws him into this pitch black basement, and then he locks the door. The sound of that heavy metal door slamming shut and the deadbolt clicking, chills, literal chills all over my body. We've watched Nick go through so much over the years, but seeing him reduced to this helpless state while Matt coldly handles him like a piece of garbage is genuinely hard to watch. Because Nick isn't just fighting Matt right now. He's fighting his own body, his own crippling addiction, and he is losing horribly. Am I the only one who thinks Matt Clark has officially crossed the line from a standard soap opera villain into an actual terrifying horror movie monster? Because the way he is acting right now is completely unhinged and deeply disturbing. He isn't just trying to kill Nick. That would be entirely too easy for him. He wants to destroy Nick's mind from the inside out. Matt is standing there in the shadows, holding a syringe, threatening to inject Nick with another massive lethal dose of drugs. And not just to stop his heart, but to completely wipe his memory permanently. He wants to erase who Nick Newman is. He wants to take away his memories of Sharon, of his son Noah, of Summer, of his entire identity. It's sick. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty storyline because it definitely brings the high stakes drama, but personally, I am terrified. Matt's sadistic, twisted joy in watching a Newman suffer is just, it's too much. But wait, because the episode somehow gets even crazier. Out of nowhere, Patty Williams decides she is going to be the ultimate wild card in this deadly game. I mean, Patty, after Matt coldly rejected her, told her he works alone, and completely dismissed her like she was nothing, Patty completely snapped. And honestly, I kind of love it. I'm sorry, but hell hath no fury, like a Patty Williams scorned and abandoned. She picks up the phone and calls Victor Newman. And she doesn't just tattle on Matt. No, she demands $2 million for the exact location of the gas station. $2 million. I was screaming at the screen. The absolute sheer audacity of this woman to try and extort the mustache while his son is actively dying. It is pure, unadulterated soap opera gold. But it's also terrifying because Patty is completely unstable and driven by her own deep-seated abandonment issues. You never know what she's going to do next. And then we have Victor. Oh my God, Victor. He is sitting there in his massive CEO chair, and you can just see the gears turning in his head. This is the ultimate grim dilemma for Victor Newman. Does he negotiate with a known terrorist? Does he trust a certified psychopath like Patty Williams? Because let's be real, Patty has a horrible, violent track record. Remember when she poisoned Summer Newman years ago? Victor certainly hasn't forgotten that. He despises her with every fiber of his being. But on the other hand, this is Nick. This is his golden boy. His son's life is literally hanging by a thread in the hands of the devil himself. If Victor hesitates, if he tries to play his usual 4D chess and outsmart Patty to save a buck, Matt is going to inject Nick with that memory wiping drug. The clock is ticking so loudly, you can almost hear it pounding in Victor's chest. I mean, think about Victor's history in psychology for a second. He always thinks he can control the narrative. He always believes he has the upper hand in every single negotiation. But right now, he has absolutely nothing. He is completely at the mercy of a mentally unstable woman and a sadistic sociopath. And you can see the intense conflict in his eyes. He wants to rip Patty apart through the phone, but he needs that location. I am practically begging Victor through the screen. Just pay the money, Victor. Who cares about $2 million? You wipe your nose with $2 million. Just wire the funds immediately and send your elite security team to Vegas before Nick's brain is completely fried. But no, Victor has to sit there and calculate, and that stubborn hesitation might cost Nick everything. It is so utterly frustrating to watch. And while all this high stakes extortion is happening, we have Nikki, poor, sweet, fiercely protective Nikki Newman. She is hovering around the ranch and she instantly notices Victor's eerie, terrifying silence. You guys know the look. When Victor gets really quiet and refuses to look her in the eye, something catastrophic is happening. Nikki knows it too. The maternal instinct is kicking in hard and fast. She can feel in her bones that something is horribly wrong with her son. And the fact that Victor is keeping this from her, oh, he is going to pay for that later. Because if Nikki finds out that Victor hesitated to pay a ransom while their son was locked in a dark basement being pumped full of lethal narcotics, she is going to leave him. Again, I swear, if Victor's pride gets in the way of saving Nick, Nikki will never, ever forgive him. Their marriage will not survive this. We also have to remember Nikki's own deeply painful history with addiction. She knows exactly what it feels like to be trapped by a substance. She knows the absolute terror of losing control of your own body and mind to drugs and alcohol. So the idea that her son is out there not only suffering from a massive overdose, but being weaponized and tortured with drugs by Matt Clark, it would destroy her. It will destroy her. I am dreading the moment she finally finds out the full horrific truth. The fallout is going to be nuclear. I mean, we already know she is going to end up screaming in absolute despair at the hospital if this goes wrong. This waiting game is just pure torture for us fans who have invested decades into watching this family survive tragedy after tragedy. Let's circle back to Matt's sick plan for a second, because I am still so worked up over his end game. What does he actually get out of wiping Nick's memory? Is it just pure, unadulterated revenge? Or does he plan to brainwash Nick into turning against his own family? Because if Matt manages to inject Nick with that final dose and Nick wakes up not knowing who he is, that is going to be the most agonizing storyline ever. I am not ready for an amnesiac Nick Newman who thinks Matt Clark is his friend or ally. I am just not. We've done the amnesia storylines before on the show, and yeah, they didn't work then either. But this feels so much darker and more sinister. It's not just a bump on the head from a fall. It's a forced chemical lobotomy. It's a violation of the highest order, stripping a man of his soul. I am just so emotionally exhausted, you guys. The suspense is literally killing me. Every time the camera cuts from Nick lying helplessly in the dark, gasping for air, to Matt holding that deadly needle, to Victor staring blankly at his phone while Nikki watches him suspiciously, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. This is peak Young and the Restless drama, but it is also the most stressful thing on television right now. I need the next episode immediately. I need to know if Victor swallows his massive ego and pays Patty. I need to know if Nikki forces the truth out of him before it's too late. And most importantly, I need Nick Newman to open his eyes, fight off that drug haze, and survive. If you are as stressed out as I am, please tell me I'm not crazy in the comments. We have to stick together through this nightmare storyline.